Hi guys, this is IceMayne. Today I'm bringing you some big news to come out of 343 Industries with regards to Halo Infinite. So 343 are going to release breadcrumbs of details on Halo Waypoint leading up to the release of Infinite later this year. And they're going to be doing this with a series of interviews and blogs monthly. Now, a couple of days ago, they released some information in regards to the new sandbox, which was pretty interesting. Following on from this, I'm going to break down everything we know about Infinite so far. So when 343 released the campaign footage for Infinite last year, it went down like a lead balloon. It was not well received at all. The graphics and overall look of the game was slaughtered, and in turn, this birthed the infamous and legendary Craig memes. After the backlash caused by the campaign reveal, 343 decided to delay Infinite by an entire year. Now, in my opinion, they absolutely made the right decision, especially after seeing the mess of a release Cyberpunk had shortly after, which garnered more bad press than good. 343's response to this was as follows. Much of the feedback we heard from the community aligned with our own views and work we were already committed to doing around things like indirect lighting, material response, foliage and tree rendering, clouds, level of detail transitions, and character fidelity. Still, the feedback was humbling, and it also pushed us to look at additional opportunities for improvement. Now, this is the type of response you want from a developer, not like Activision and Raven, who are letting Warzone burn to the ground with the amount of hackers, glitches, and broken metas they produce. It's nice to know that 343 do hear our cries. One of the downfalls they went on to say with Halo 5 was, despite its many successes, they didn't take player feedback enough into account. I think this is why they intend to go back to the grassroots of Halo in Halo Infinite, stripping back the jetpacks, etc. for a cleaner, classic Halo feel to simplify things again. Admittedly, I never really take the reveals of games months prior to its actual release as a final product, because it wasn't great, but they did confirm that the facial animations weren't finished, and they're eager to show the progress the team has made in the campaign as soon as possible. But they want to make sure that they have all the right pieces coming together before doing so. Things like hairdos and beards for brutes will also be added, so I'm confident the facial aesthetics, the lighting, rendering, and the overall presentation will be awesome upon release. Along with new weapons and equipment we saw in the gameplay footage, they did actually release some Spartan and weapon renders recently, which I want to touch base on also. Now, we already saw footage of some of the new equipment, which has been doing the rounds, like the drop wall, which allows one-way fire. I'm a fan of this type of equipment, something similar to the bubble shield in Halo 3. We also saw the ever popular grapple hook. I can't tell you how excited I am to actually give this a whirl. Being able to throw fusion coils at enemies is also a new feature, which could prove handy. Combining that with the grapple hook could provide some tasty kills. Now, I'm hoping there isn't anything like the regenerator from Halo 3. I felt it was kind of overpowered, especially in the multiplayer. Now, for those wondering what they mean by sandbox, it essentially refers to all of the vehicles, equipment, weapons, and objects that the player will interact with. Essentially, all of the toys the player gets to play with. Now, one of the new features that they have included is damage types, in a similar vein, but not quite as extreme, to Destiny. Now, one quote that caught my attention was, instead of using the weapon that you like because of how it shoots or handles, in Infinite, you might want to grab a certain weapon because of how it affects other players, the environment, or vehicles. This is very interesting. I did notice while watching the campaign gameplay, when they went to pick up weapons, it came up with a weapon type, a damage type, and a fire rate. This is a nice touch for new players not knowing what a gun does prior to firing. Speaking of weapons, here are the ones that we know so far. So we have one of the most iconic weapons within the series. The first gun we actually see in the gameplay, in fact, is the MA series assault rifle. We see the grunts using the standard weapon of choice plasma pistol, the MK50 sidekick semi-automatic pistol, the VK78 Commando. This appears to be the newest UNSC rifle. The Ravager, which fires a burst of 3 plasma balls. It clearly deals a lot of damage and works with an overheat vent reload mechanic. This also changes your melee attack to attack with the blade strapped to the front, which is actually pretty neat. You've got the pulse carbine, not sure if this is to replace the storm rifle or the carbine from previous iterations, but it's nice to see some more burst rifles getting some love. You've got the mangler. This appears to be another banished weapon and behaves similarly to a heavy pistol or revolver, slow firing but high damage. You've got the bulldog. This seems to be the classic shotgun with some tweaks, a heavy hitting UNSC pump shotgun with a drum mag, so you can spend less time reloading and more time wreaking havoc. The battle rifle made an appearance in the campaign trailer, and it seems to have gone for the more classic look a la Halo 3 or Halo 2 Anniversary, as opposed to Halo 5's futuristic look. This actually fills me with a lot of joy. The energy sword also made an appearance with a new aesthetic as well. And lastly, there's no footage, but from the photo, from what I can gather, it's a redesigned Hydra, which was one of the launchers featured in previous games. Finishing off, we can see the sniper rifle, the rocket launcher, and the Needler all returning. In terms of vehicles, we're only yet to see the Warthog, but they strongly hinted at a new addition which would utilise flamethrowers or other ignition-based weaponry. That has been a rarity in Halo to date, with flame only really showing up via the flamethrower in 2 games prior as a heavy weapon, and the flamethrower Warthog in Halo Wars 2 for Kinsano. There were suggestions that a weapon that has been in the series since the original will be getting a rework. This could very well be the flamethrower. They have confirmed new vehicles will be entered into the series, with one supposedly going to sit nicely between the Warthog and the Scorpion tank in terms of power. Maybe some type of Wolverine or Kodiak from the Halo Wars series, even the Mastodon. It could potentially be some new brute vehicle. Looking forward to hearing more on the vehicle front either way. With regards to armor and customization, they have mentioned they would like the Halo Reach levels of customization back. They want to make it an enjoyable experience, customizing and unlocking parts for your Spartan alongside an engaging player progression system. This is good news. Everyone loves kitting out their Spartan uniquely, and from the screenshots that were released of the updated Spartans, they look clean and fresh. This includes the new coating system, which allows players to define color, wear and tear, patterns and materials on a region by region basis. They have come away from the traditional primary and secondary color choices for a Spartan, but it will give players much more variation when it comes to customization. With Halo Infinite being free to play, it does mean there will be some premium cosmetics, but players will still obtain tons of customization content through things like the campaign, challenges, skill, special events, legacy rewards, the progression system, and more. Learning from past mistakes in the likes of Halo 5, they did feel they didn't reward players enough who put in the time to reach the max rank, so they've added a few tokens of appreciation to make up for it. Now, one thing that did come up in the interview, which was music to my ears, is 343 want to avoid it becoming a grind machine that burns everyone out in an attempt to get more game time. Think of all the games that have random rewards and ask people to play a certain way they hate just to get the shiny new toy, or weaponizing the fear of missing out against players. As much as I love Destiny, the fear of missing out is half the reason I played as long as I did. The grind was very, very real. But 343 have confirmed Halo Infinite will feature no loot boxes, no randomness or items that influence the sandbox and gameplay. It will not be a pay to win in any way either. This is a delight to hear. With the way games and developers especially are going nowadays, to hear that it's not going to be in Halo Infinite is great news. As far as multiplayer, they were actually originally intending for separate releases of the campaign and the multiplayer, but didn't feel it would be right, hence the delay. It's confirmed as free to play, and there's no Battle Royale mode. In fact, they've actually denied a Battle Royale mode whenever questioned on it. Ranking system still unconfirmed, but if they go the route of the Master Chief Collection with an experience system in social alongside a 1 to 50 in ranked, that in my opinion would be the best route to take. A beta has been confirmed prior to release. There's no official dates as of yet, but that's good news. It's nice to play the beta prior because we can actually feed back, and knowing 343 are taking the feedback on board, they can make the right amendments. I would hazard a guess that the beta would probably fit in around April or May. That gives them enough time for fall 2021 to make the corrections. With there being still no confirmed release date, and as I mentioned, fall 2021 is all we have, Originally, it was actually supposed to be an Xbox Series X release title prior to the delay. Now, who wants to bet the date ends up being November 15th, the 20th anniversary of Combat Evolved. Now, that's all I've got for you today, folks. Thanks for watching. In my next video, I will actually be touching base on everything we know related to the campaign and possible storylines. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. It means a lot. And as always, until next time, stay frosty.